The town stood silent, empty. The buildings were dark, windows like vacant eyes. Dust lay thick on the single, deserted street. A weather vane creaked on the roof of the general store, its mournful cry the only sound in the stillness. Night had fallen, a thick, inky blackness that seemed to swallow the moonlight. The moon itself was a sliver, a fingernail paring in the vast, starless sky. The air was cold, heavy with the smell of damp earth and decay. The only movement came from the wind rustling through the dead leaves that littered the street. I walked slowly, my footsteps echoing in the silence. Each sound was amplified, distorted, taking on a life of its own. The creak of the weather vane became a groan. The rustling leaves whispered secrets I couldn't understand. Fear, cold and clammy, tightened its grip on my chest. From the shadows they watched. I felt their presence before I saw them, a coldness that went beyond the chill of the night. Shapes shifted in the darkness, just beyond the reach of the moonlight. Whispers, too soft to make out, drifted on the wind. I quickened my pace, my heart pounding in my ears. The shadows moved with me, flanking me on either side. I could feel their eyes on me, cold and hungry. They were close now, close enough to touch. I could smell the dust of ages on their unseen forms. Then, from one of the houses, a sound. A scream, sharp and sudden, that tore through the night. It was a human sound, a sound of terror. It echoed through the empty street, bouncing off the silent buildings, before fading into a choked sob. I ran towards the sound, my fear forgotten in the face of another's terror. The scream had come from a small, ramshackle house at the edge of town. Its windows were dark, but a faint light flickered behind the grimy curtains. As I approached, the sound of the wind changed. It was no longer a whisper, but a low growl, a mournful howl that sent shivers down my spine. Crows, disturbed by the sound, took flight from the roof, their wings beating against the silence. They circled overhead, their harsh cries adding to the growing cacophony of the night. The shadows around me had solidified, taking on vaguely humanoid forms. They floated inches above the ground, their eyes burning with a cold, malevolent light. I stumbled back, my hand reaching for the knife at my belt. The shadows advanced, their whispers growing louder, more insistent. I was surrounded, trapped. There was nowhere left to run. Then, from the depths of my despair, a glimmer of hope. A light, brilliant and pure, pierced the darkness. It came from above, a ray of light that split the night sky in two. The shadows recoiled, hissing as if burned. The light intensified, bathing the town in its warmth. The shadows shrieked, their forms dissolving like mist under a hot sun. I looked up, shielding my eyes from the brilliance, and there, hanging in the sky, was a single, perfect feather, glowing with an otherworldly light. It was a beacon of hope, a promise of salvation, and I knew with a certainty that defied all logic that I would be safe.